Okay, are we ready? Okay. Thank you all for joining us the Thursday afternoon before a holiday weekend. I'm impressed that you all showed up tonight. So, I'm just kidding. I know that everyone's here because we all know that this is a really important project, and we're excited to work on it. It's fun to plan for the future of Elbert County, so we certainly appreciate you all being here. Just a couple real quick things before we get started, and then we'll dive into the visioning and all of the fun stuff that we have planned for tonight. We did pass out a few handouts for you all. So we have the Code of Conduct that was approved by the Board of County Commissioners. You all are a committee, and so that does apply to you all as well, so we've handed that out to you. We've also passed out some ground rules, if you will, for these meetings, and we just want to be sure that these are productive meetings and that while there's a lot of people in the room, right, we want to be sure that everyone gets a chance to be heard, that we're kind and respectful to each other. I know nothing gets us fired up sometimes like talking about land use and fun zoning things that some of us do every day. But it's important, and I know you all are passionate, and so we want to hear that. We just want to be sure that we hear from everybody. So you'll also see on there we have proposed setting up a parking lot, if you will, and so Kelsey and I will be sure to keep notes of anything that comes up that's like, oh, I want to be sure that we talk about that. But even if it's not necessarily we need to talk about it at this moment, we'll take notes on that so that we can always go back and revisit it, right? Because everything we're talking about sort of crosses all of the boundaries of these chapters, right? We talk about housing, we're going to talk about roadways and all sorts of things. And so we're happy to keep track of those things for you. And that way you know that it's not going to be forgotten about, but that we can come back and revisit it. So next time we'll have it on a big sticky page that we can track, but we'll take notes for those tonight. Or maybe we'll have them on the screen next time, we'll see. So the last few things, we are planning to have the future meetings in person. We tried virtual last time, and we appreciate everyone participating with that. It was maybe a little bit clunkier than we had hoped, so we are going to have these in person moving forward. So thank you to our consultants for helping facilitate that. And then we have extended the meetings to 90 minutes. So we don't want anyone to feel rushed. I know 90 minutes still probably isn't enough, but we'll focus and get done what we can during those 90 minutes, but that way we're not quite so tight with 60. So it sounds, that's well received. Okay, great. We do appreciate your time, though. We do keep these short only because I'm sure we could be here all night, right, talking about all the things. And so we're going to try to keep them succinct. So we appreciate you all participating, looking at things ahead of time, sending us comments and all that. Finally, last thing before I step aside, thank you all if you have done the survey. If you haven't, please do it. And if you have, be sure and tell your friends and your neighbors to complete the survey. It is available online through the 5th, so through the end of next week, after the holiday weekend. All right, did I miss anything? So I think the last thing we'll start with introductions, just to be sure that everybody knows everybody in the room, and we have lovely name tags this time, so if you don't know somebody, you can get to know them quickly. Jennifer Jones with Elbert County, and we have a few other staff members here, but we'll just go around the room. I will let Blake, our consultant, start.
Another quick just housekeeping item. When you do speak, remember to unmute your mic, and also this meeting is being recorded, so before you speak, make sure to reference your name and unmute that mic. So we're going to get into some quick introductions. I know we had a few people missing the first meeting, so we'll go through, take 30 seconds, first and last name, and your relationship to Elbert County. Russ?
Kim Wills, I am a fifth-generation native to Elbert County. My great-grandfather was the sheriff at the turn of the 1900s, so I'm very deep-rooted in the community.
Yeah, Chris Hatton. I've been in Elbert County my wife and I have been in Elbert County for 20 years. We're both native Coloradoans and second and third generation, and I'm a geotechnical engineer by training.
Joe Pepper, been in the county 25 years. We live in the corner over by Kelly Air Park, and I'm the treasurer for Elbert Fire in the town of Elbert, and love this county.
Larry Gable, been a resident for 7 years.
Ken Manson, I've been a resident for about 4.5 years. I'm also on the board of Independence Classical Academy, as well as I'm involved with the school district for Elizabeth.
Good evening, I'm Wendy Holmes. I serve you as the county's Communication and Public Affairs Director.
I'm Kelsey Lanham. I'm one of the planners here for Elbert County.
Andrea Richardson, been in the county since 2011 and Colorado native, and do quite a bit of extensive work with business here in Elbert County.
Shelley Manning, I've been here about 2.5 years, and I'm third generation Colorado lady.
Janine Foster. I've been in the county for 3.5 years. I live in Simla.
I'm Jim Marshall, landowner, developer, been here since 1999.
Nicole Hunt. I'm a planning commissioner for Elbert County, and I also sit on the Elizabeth School Board.
Danny Wilcox, resident, born and raised Colorado, been out here, now we're going on 32 years.
Hi everyone, I'm Tyler Dreisbach. I've been a resident of Elbert County for about 7 years, and I'm a general contractor.
And I'm Inez Kalmish with the consulting firm Kimley Horton.
Awesome. Thank you all. And again, before we jump in, Kevin, go ahead.
And I'm Kevin Kirkwood. I'm chairman of the Planning Commission. I've been a resident of Elbert County for about 13 years now, and looking forward to the next round of this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. And before we jump into this, just want to say again to say thank you to everyone. I know we all have very busy schedules, and especially leading into a holiday weekend. Thank you all for coming out and not only helping us, but helping your fellow citizens, your fellow residents, and your community to start building the future for Elbert County. Can we share screen? Go on to the next two slides. So any questions on the steering committee ground rules? I know Jennifer jumped into that pretty quickly. If at any point you have any questions, please raise your hand, let us know. We want this to be a very collaborative effort, so as we get into these topics, feel free to jump in, ask questions, discuss amongst yourselves. If you do discuss amongst yourselves, please let us know, and we can pause the conversation, and so everyone can hear some debates or conversations going on. So a quick agenda that we're going to be going over through tonight. We're going to do a quick recap of meeting number 2, which was virtual, a quick update on the community engagement, and then we're going to get into the first group activity, which is reaching consensus on the vision and goals and the core principles. And then we're going to jump into the land use topic, which is our land use categories. And then at the very end, we'll do a quick recap on the schedule and next steps. So our recap from meeting number 2, a few topics we discussed are the state statutes regarding comprehensive plans, and what are the required elements that are needed that go into these plans, and then also some demographic data and growth trends, and then also the vision and core principles. So a quick community engagement update. I want to say thank you to everyone, especially Wendy, for doing such a great job on getting the survey out there, and to all of you for spreading the word on the survey. We have up to August 26th, we have 689. We just broke 700, folks. We're at 760. So a quick round of applause for everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just to put that in comparison, we are doing a plan outside of the city of Sacramento. It has a population of 250,000 people. We have 155 responses on that survey, and the city council thought that that was a huge success because there are very little people that are interested in the direction of their community. So yeah, thank you again so much. We have a quick update on our engagement activity. So SIMLA Days, we will be in attendance for that between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Depending on how the engagement goes. It's not a hard stop at 1 p.m. And so if we get if we get some really good feedback and the conversations are going, then we'll hang around. But I think we'll just play it by ear, and if the engagement starts to die down, then we'll wrap up. But really excited to be out there on Labor Day, hearing from the community of Simla. It'll be my first time in Simla, so I'm really excited, and excited to get some good food in my belly. So quick upcoming schedule. The community survey closes on September 5th. Quick reminder for everyone to make one last push to get the survey out there to your neighbors, your friends, your family. Simla Days is coming up on Monday, and then the open house number 1. This date has sort of been moving with our schedule. Right now, it is a tentative for October 14th. This is not a hard date yet. We have not set this, and we plan on confirming this very soon. Yep. Okay. So next week we will be sending out final details on the first open house. The second open house really needs to be flexible in how we progress in the plan itself. We want to make sure that when we get out to the community on the second open house, we're providing some baked materials to get some feedback. So that date is still hovering around November, December. That's a very tough time to do community engagement. Folks are going to be out and out for the holidays, so it may push to next year, but we'll update the group on whenever we get some feedback on that. So quick structure on the comprehensive plan. Please note that these chapters are draft chapter topics right now. We have not finalized any of these chapters yet. This really gives us some guardrails on what the topics will be when we get into the comprehensive plan. So as you can see, we talk about land use, we talk about housing, transportation, and these are all high-level topics that we'll be covering. The main topic for discussion today is the vision and core principles. This essentially guides every single goal, every policy and strategy decision that we make throughout this process. So a quick recap. You all have seen this slide before, but just wanted to recap this before we get into the group activity. So the comprehensive plan vision statement, this is sort of an umbrella statement that helps guide the core principles. It serves as sort of a foundation. So everything from the core principles to the chapters to everything that goes into the plan, it all references back to that vision statement. And then the core principles serve as common threads that sort of tie all of the chapters and comprehensive plan elements together. Think of them less as chapter topics and more so broad ideas that help facilitate the goals within the chapters. And so we are going to start with the vision statement. So what is a vision statement? This is a recap of meeting number 2. It is aspirational, it's future-focused, it's foundational, and it's all-encompassing. So like I said, each goal and strategy needs to be reinforced by the vision statement and can help implement different core principles. And then we will go next. We'll jump into the group activities. So you all have a worksheet in front of you. We have three vision statements, and we have asked you all to decide on one, and then we're going to go through and chat about what you like, what you don't like. I think right now what I would like to see is I'm going to go around, or I'll give you a few minutes. If you haven't completed this portion of the worksheet, please take a minute to complete it right now. And in about 5 minutes, we will come around, collect the worksheets, and start to tally where everyone is sitting right now. So from there, we will then try to narrow it down to 2, and then hopefully narrow it down to 1. Sounds good? Any questions?
Blake, I do have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is, why are we only limited to these 3? Are you taking feedback to find versions that might fully reflect maybe what a majority of us have in mind, or revisions we would like to see made to these 3?
Yep. So we have taken feedback from the survey. We've taken feedback from the Elbert County Fair community engagement event that we had. And then we also took notes during the second steering committee meeting and compiled those all into 3. What we found was there was surprisingly a lot of overlap in what folks were wanting to see in that vision statement. And this covered the vast majority of everything that we heard. If it doesn't include something that you would like, in that box below the vision statement, throw in words, throw in a complete revision if you would like, and then we will discuss that here in about 5 minutes. Sounds good? Everybody ready? Any more questions? Go.
Yeah, I went through and edited it. Yeah.
So I like this one. There's a vacancy talking about businesses.
Yeah, I was just, I really wanted to get the water in there.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Critical infrastructure.
And that's why I like the stewardship and intention and everything. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
pieces. Water is everything.
So at 5:30, we will begin the discussion process.
Lincoln County, we're 158 times faster.
So we went through an exercise, these cut off, but I looked at counties that were similar size.
Okay.
to Elbert County.
Yeah.
And it was, obviously Elbert route, Summit.
Okay.
Obviously has a different demographic, Montezuma, and that sort of thing. And if you look at the red line is Elbert County, so you go back to 1990. I can't copy this. This isn't print out very well.
Yeah.
But we were like no growth. You hit right in here in This is the moving
What's the
average
blue
here.
line?
And
Blue line.
Kevin,
That's just something that
the topic that we're discussing right
Oh, I see.
now is the visioning portion of that worksheet
It's
that we.
clear, Blake. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay, thank you.
That's crazy. Yeah. So this is a rolling average for those counties, and then it's, we're already, we've crossed over. Yeah.
Yeah, but this,
So,
infrastructure, water, and tax base is going to get hit.
yeah.
And I want to draw businesses. Anyway, what I was looking at was these maps. So here's the county. And I don't know what the colors mean, but
Those are districts.
no,
No. Sorry.
the districts are.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the colors are? The divisions? I don't even, and the legend doesn't say anything about it. But in this main artery of I-70 and Agate and Deer Trail and all these, man, it would be an ideal place to set up an industrial zone.
Oh, yeah.
Ideal place.
Yeah.
And just over here, you got Kansas with more water than they know what to do with. And if push came to shove, that could be transferred over. And
Problem is they're trying to take more water. So they've taken like Bonnie Reservoir and all those water rights and they're pushing them over to Kansas. So it's a really contentious issue. It's super contentious.
I got to stop.
Yeah, they're trying to grab well water because my in-laws farm like right up against the border of Colorado. They're out in Ray, so they're sort of in the tri-state area up there.
Yeah.
But the state of Colorado is trying to take their water rights. So, and they're in the Ogallala. They've got a couple.
Whoever's having that water conversation is
Yeah.
actually kind of overloading
It's,
the rest of the discussions.
water is everything. None of these stream beds are significant. None of them.
Yeah.
We don't have any significant stream beds.
No. And it's all, I mean, you look at this, I mean, if it were not for irrigation, you couldn't grow much on there. You could ranch the hell out of it.
And we're
But,
not, we're not storing it.
Dryland wheat, maybe.
So
hit
we're
and
right
miss.
here.
Yeah.
And this is the same creek that runs right down through Elizabeth that we raced the ducks on, which is why when we had that downpour 2 weeks ago, it raised the running creek 3 inches.
Yeah.
Right at the time we launched. That's good. That's
All right, everyone.
This is the upper Dawson.
How's everyone feeling? Are we good? Are we ready?
This is the lower Dawson right here. So it's down 8.
Not yet?
This is 20.
All right, I'm hanging.
Now,
Okay, please do.
there's not a lot of data to base that.
You got it.
50, 60 miles between wells.
Huh. Wow. That's interesting.
I wanted to see the next one.
Yeah, they need more data. I think this whole. Yeah, there's just. We're gonna be 100,000 probably sooner than 20 years. By the way, Kim? No, yesterday.
Jen.
Jen, thank you. What a gem she is.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
She's a great gal.
All right, How are we feeling? Are we ready? We ready to go? Okay, so instead of collecting, we're just going to do a quick show of hands. We're just going to go down the row. So for Vision 1, if you selected Vision 1, go ahead and raise your hand. All right, we have 3 folks. Kevin, did I see a hand?
No, I said it's not complete.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty close, but it's not complete.
Okay. A few more minutes. Oh,
Now,
okay.
keep rolling with the voting. I'm basically saying
Okay.
that none of the visions align, but one with the first sentence of Vision 2 actually makes sense to me.
Okay. So I guess let's move forward. Vision 2, if you selected Vision 2, can you raise your hand? 2, 3, and then Kevin? With a heavy asterisk? With heavy edits, okay. That was 3, or no, 1, 2,
2,
3, 4, yep. And then for Vision 3, show of hands. All right. With additions. With 3, okay. All right, it seems like we're missing a few folks. Don't be shy.
Yeah, I didn't select any of them. And in
Okay.
fact, I wrote something else. And I see some of my colleagues here have written other things as well.
Okay, and then, so let's start with, just to get the discussion going, for Vision 1, for those who selected that one, what did you like about it and what did you not like about it?
So we're not all jumping in at once. So I'm going to say Vision 1 makes sense to me from a pure conservative values perspective,
Sorry,
but does not
sorry,
include the
Kevin.
concepts
Sorry,
of,
Kevin, one second. Can you turn on your mic, please? Sorry, we'll get to you just next, Kevin. Thank you.
So what I was saying was that, in my opinion, it really holds the premise of the direction that I feel like we should be going regarding the stewardship, agricultural roots, the open space, preserving it for generations. But then I wrote, I really, really liked Kevin's from last week, and I'd like us to use his. But I feel like that one is the most succinct, although it needs to be, edited out a little bit.
And then what would you like to add?
Like I said, I really like Kevin's from last week. I just think that I'd have to just sit there and I think like a lot of these people, none of these really felt like was exactly what I would do. But I feel like that one has the basis. It just needs more meat and depth to it. It's very bulletized, I guess, in my opinion.
And then who wants to go next? Kevin, do you want to go next on Vision 1?
yeah, I agree. It's not as complete as it needs to be. Um, personally, I like the one I put out there last week, but apparently that didn't resonate enough with folks. So, happy to amend, but we need to talk about our conservative roots. We need to talk about preserving what we are from a rural and open space perspective. But we need to be thinking about how do we grow responsibly and in a controlled and measured fashion. And so that's kind of the heart of what I was talking about last week, or the last time.
Okay. Anybody else want to go next?
Is it possible for you to read these out because people online don't know what we're talking about, and
Sure.
people in the audience?
Yeah. So Vision 1 is a community rooted in values. So Elbert County is a place where families grow together, shaped by enduring values, faith, hard work, and stewardship. It's a community that cherishes its agricultural roots, open spaces, and small town character, offering future generations the same sense of pride and belonging.
Thank you. The reason I chose this one, I moved out here for the quality of life that we have. And a lot of that's due to the rural nature, the small town feel. I've been here 7 years and the traffic already sucks. Okay? The difference between now and when I moved out here is, I came from California. I know that's not cool, but I came here for a reason. And I'm probably the oldest person in this room. I'm retired. And I'll tell you what, the growth they had in California, it doesn't end up nice. Let me tell you, it's ugly. And I think 25 is appropriately named right now because in about 10 years, you'll be lucky if you can go 25 miles an hour, the way they're growing right now. So I'm attracted to the quality of life we have out here. And that's the primary reason I took this one.
Ken?
Okay, it's Ken Madsen. I picked number one again. I felt like it gave, from what I've been hearing from the community, going to a lot of different meetings and stuff, this seems to encompass a lot of what people are looking for. This is why they moved here in the first place. A couple, myself, I would probably put in a safe, family-oriented community as well. And another thing that I went and looked through a lot of vision statements from other places, and I didn't see any of them talk about growth. Instead, they were focusing on the residents and trying to give them economic prosperity. And I think that's more important for us as a community than just the growth aspects. So.
Okay, so you would like to see maybe economic prosperity or economic sustainability or something so it leans maybe not so directed towards growth, but just,
yes.
Okay. Any follow-up questions for those who did not select Vision 1? Nicole,
Can you ever thank you. All right, so one of the things that threw me off, I liked 1, and I liked a little bit of 2. So I ended up putting something together that was kind of a combination of the 2. But one of the things that I didn't love as much about the first one had to do kind of with like the aspect of, things that you can't really define. So as a planning commissioner, I have to look to this comprehensive plan as a guide for how to make decisions about land use. So I'm not sure how to define, how Elbert County looks at faith or hard work or families growing together. So I would like a vision statement that actually has words and can be more like tactfully used, not as a zoning regulation, but really as a guiding document to make land use decisions. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the first one that much, because I don't think it was like beefy enough. And I personally do think that we should address development. I think it's one of the things that sets this county apart, because if you look at other counties, you're right, they don't address development maybe in their vision statement, but then you look around and you see there's a lot of development in that county. If we are interested in having smart growth or smart development, I think that needs to be very clearly spelled out in our vision statement. So this is what I would submit to the group to consider. Elbert County is a community committed first and foremost to preserving its rural way of life, open spaces, water resources, scenic vistas, and agricultural heritage. Strict growth management is essential to protecting these principles and ensuring that the county's small town character is not compromised. Future development is limited to when it clearly demonstrates consistency with these values and can be responsibly supported by existing schools, services, and infrastructure. I like something like this because I think it sets guidelines for how we want to grow and the ways that we want to preserve. Thank you.
Can I interject to that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think that there was a lot of good. All of these were good, and they touched on points I think that we can all agree on and maybe, mesh them all together. And I like what Nicole had to say, but I don't like the word strict growth management because it sounds like things like government is going to be telling you what you can and can't do. And I think a lot of Elbert County are very fierce property rights advocates, and you should be able to do what you want with your own property. And that's the kind of the things that I would add to a lot of this, is that we're welcoming to people who want a piece of the American dream. We don't want to move here, get the American dream, close the door and say, no, you can't come. We want people to be able to feel comfortable being here and being part of the new growth. But then we also, and we want to advocate land ownership and being able to do what you want within your envelope, the land that you own, but we also want freedom to prosper as well. And the economic growth and the sustainability and self-sustainability is also very important.
Okay. How does that resonate with everyone? Danny?
We had stated there, one thing, and this goes back to the reason we're doing the comprehensive plan. My understanding is the comprehensive plan was never a regulatory document.
That's correct.
If that is the intent, or they intend on having it being used as regulations, then we're creating a huge conflict with regulation and code, okay, with the plan and code. So with that in mind, you really want to stay away from any policy directives or anything within a comprehensive plan, because it is going to conflict with your codes. Your comprehensive plan should be a visionary document that's a view from people as to what they want to see, how they want to see this county grow. Okay, it never should contain anything that contains regulation, policy, or anything else. We struggled with that for years, trying to get that out of the planning commission meetings, the board meetings, because it always conflicted. That's just part as to why I don't think it should contain any regulation at all, really.
Yes, and
it's not a regulatory document, it's an advisory document.
Exactly.
And it needs to be designed as an advisory document. I actually agree with a lot of what Nicole said. I know this is going to shock you.
That being said,
But-
we also make plans and give directive off of what's in that comprehensive plan based on how the regulations are stated. So we need to make sure that we are following and aligning at some levels to the principles below the visionary statement of the document. So the principles included in the comprehensive plan do guide how we shape the future direction of Elbert County.
And that's correct. And Jim, I think getting back to your point, it's the vision statement, is sort of seen as a soft teddy bear. The core principles, you start to get a little bit more teeth with that. And then your zoning code and regulation, that's where the bear claws come out. Mm-hmm. If you want to put an analogy to that, that's where the regulations come in. And so I want to challenge everyone here with the vision statement to keep it as broad as possible and aspirational as possible without getting into some aspects that may come into with like core principles. So sustainability or water conservation or anything as we get into the core principles, that starts to get a little bit more detailed. And then when we get into the goals within the chapters themselves, so natural resources, that's when we can pick up a little bit more teeth, if you will, to get a little bit more specific on which elements, to your point, Nicola, on using the comprehensive plan as a tool to guide decision-making processes in the future. That's where you would get those tools.
Well, I mean, I would just disagree that it has to be as broad as you're suggesting in the vision statement. I think the vision statement can be whatever this group thinks the vision statement should be, or the Planning Commission should. At the end of the day, it's their document. But as long as it doesn't include regulatory directions, which it doesn't, none of the ones you suggested do, and mine doesn't. It's all vision statements for these are the things that we aspire to in this county. But I would like to let Jim, if you wanted to finish your comment about your thoughts on mine.
Yeah, no, I think about this quite a bit, actually, and I've been active in the county for 25 years, a little over 25, and I'm the first one to admit it's a very unique county. I've developed all over the metropolitan area. Elbert County is truly unique. There is nothing like it anywhere else in the metropolitan area. It's the only place that I develop where I have to build the water plant, I have to build the sewer plant, I have to build the water lines, I have to build the sewer lines, I have to build the roads. Guess what? I even have to maintain the roads, and I have to maintain all of it. When I build in Parker or Thornton or any of the places I've been in over the years, I don't have to build I still build water lines and so on, but they're maintained by those municipalities. Elbert County is really unique, and I wrote out just a quick paragraph, and it doesn't catch it all. I actually kind of agree with some of the stuff Nicole was talking about. Elbert County is a very unique county. It's a predominantly rural county, and it will be for the foreseeable future. The opportunity is to balance well-managed, responsible economic development and growth in defined growth areas while maintaining the rural culture, values, and quality of life that makes Elbert County special. That to me, and I might not have captured it all, and I know I'm just one guy with one opinion, but this is a unique place. And even as a developer, I acknowledge that and I admit that. And it's, I'm not trying to change the county. This county is 1,834 square miles.
Jim, do you live in the county?
No, I don't. I might as well, though. I'm out here all the time. But again, I've been out here for 25 years, and I've been very active. I've invested tens of millions of dollars in this county. Spring Valley Ranch is one of my communities for people that don't know me. I did develop 2 projects down in the town of Elizabeth, and Elbert County, again, it's a special place, and I enjoy it out here.
I do want to be cognizant of the time and as we go through this process. So let's move on to Vision 2. For those who selected Vision 2, would anyone like to kick us off on what you liked or what you would hope to change? Oh yeah. So Vision 2, the community where progress honors place. Elbert County is a place where thoughtful growth and responsible planning protect what makes it special. Development is guided by intention, concentrated in areas that support infrastructure and opportunity, while preserving the scenic vistas, water resources, and rural way of life that define Elbert County. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go.
Sure, go ahead.
So I took what was there, and after reading all 3 of these, this seemed to work best for me with edits. And I guess listening to the conversation here, it kind of reinforces sort of a overarching thought. And as much as we all would like to be able to do what we want with our land, the reality is the land may not be able to sustain what we can do. I work on mining sites throughout the world, and there's thousands of examples of extractive industries that have come in, taken advantage, extracted resources, whatever, and nothing that's sustainable. And so we have a non-renewable resource of water. We have limited precipitation. We have very nice ranch land. And so I think we have a responsibility as landowners of being stewards. And I think if there's anything I would take out of this or make sure we have into it, it's going to be important to have responsible stewardship of the land and resources. I think that's key. What pulled me into this statement was some of the specifics of intention, planned growth, intention, that sort of thing, where you're really looking at it and thinking about it hard. Because if we don't start thinking about water resources really hard, we're going to leave a generation forthcoming with nothing. And so I think that's really important, and I think that's what we're looking at 20 years down the road.
I'd just like to point out on water. I spent a lot of time on water. I've worked with Denver Water, Parker Water, South Adams County Water, Arapahoe County Water. The state of Colorado, about 18 months ago, passed legislation that allows us to put our reuse that comes out of our wastewater plants back into our potable water system. I've met with Parker Water on this. I've met with Denver Water, and we've met with the state of Colorado. They told us to come back in 5 years. They said, we don't have the people on staff yet to even look at an application to prove anything like that. And oh, by the way, we'll be dealing with the bigger jurisdictions first. But what I'd like to point out is that most water districts and wastewater districts now are reusing their wastewater. And a lot of it's going back into the irrigation system. The state, we're not ready yet in the state to put it back in the drinking water system, but it's coming. They do it in Louisiana, they do it in Texas, they do it in California. I visited some massive wastewater treatment facilities in Southern Cal about 6 months ago. It's amazing to see what they're doing. So there is a lot of focus. People are looking at reusing our resources and preserving our resources. There's techniques now where we can inject water back into the Denver Basin aquifers, that being the Denver, Arapahoe, and Laramie Fox Hills. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I can only imagine where it's going to be in the next 25 years.
Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And I do want to note that we are running over time quite a bit, so
Okay. I'll make
with
it
your
very
responses,
quick.
very, very direct.
Very,
please.
very quick. All of that is well and good. I teach a land and water class, and I work with the top water attorneys in the state, and it doesn't negate the fact that you're not putting back in the system as much as what's coming out. And so all of the aquifers are already over appropriated. And so that's something that has to be looked at heavily. That's all I'm going to say.
So my name's Tyler Dreisbach. With Vision Statement 2, the part that drew me to that one of all of them was something that both Nicole, Jim, and Kevin all pointed out. Was it's really with development, but it's saying defined growth and a strict. And for this one, it's had in concentrated areas. I think that's what drew me to Vision 2, is that it's defining where it's going to be having that development growth.
Does anybody have a follow-up? I'm seeing some head nods to that. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, I think you don't want a lot of leapfrogging, and development should occur in certain areas and corridors. You do want to have it centralized. You don't want it doesn't make sense to have 1,000 units over here and then a whole bunch of 35-acre lots and then another 1,000 units 10 miles to the east. That makes no sense. You do want to centralize the growth if you can, and so you can centralize the water and the sewer, wastewater resources.
I would agree with, this is one of the few times you and I agree, Jim. This is one of those times when you want an architected solution for the county itself, and you want to get to a point where you can actually deliver the value in concentrated areas and plan that growth, but manage that growth meticulously and with a hard and fast approach in terms of making sure that we control that and that we don't overextend what we see as the need for growth in our areas.
Thank you, Kevin. And if anyone has any last remaining comments on Vision 2, we'll move on to Vision 3. So Vision 3 is a community built on balance. Elbert County is a place where tradition and progress coexist, where quality schools, services, and infrastructure support a thriving community without compromising its identity. Through stewardship and intentionality, it remains a welcoming, safe, and vibrant place for all. Would anybody like to kick us off? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take a step. I like this one. For the last couple of weeks, I've been going out and studying other cities and towns that had the same theme of a great place to raise a family. And how did they maintain that? What did they do to keep that persona? Some of them failed miserably. Others kept it. And so I've been looking at demographics that are close to ours across the country. One of the things I like about this is tradition and progress coexisting. So we've got 9,000 homes currently already approved to be built. If we use the average of 3 people per house, that's 27,000 people. That doubles our county. So depending on how fast builders can ramp up to do that, I mean, they may be able to punch out, if they've really got their act together, a couple thousand a year, but it's going to double. So the progress and the tradition and keeping our persona as a great place to raise your family, we've got to make sure we've got business that supports the infrastructure, which I think we're really lacking because 90% of our working force goes somewhere else. Bring in some business, and that'll, be, I know, a future on the land use. But what I added to this one was not only a great place to raise a family, but an attractive backdrop for businesses looking for a wholesome environment. I think we have a special, and I agree totally, we're unique. We're very unique.
And you said businesses looking for a wholesome environment?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I want to make sure that we're calling on folks that we haven't heard from today. I'm going to call on you, Janine. Sorry.
I feel picked on. So I liked number 3. But not being from Elizabeth and from my little community, I feel like we need growth. We need improvement in our area. We are not on the same aquifer y'all are on. We're on the Big Sandy, so our water is totally different from your water. We need improvement. We need that buildup. But something that I brought up on here, that our safety and our welfare is very important. And living where we live, just an example, when we had a tornado scare. Our safety, our tornado shelter is at the school, which our school is wonderful, by the way. But people showed up there to go to shelter, and it was locked. No one can get in because it was in summer, and no one's at school in the summer. So we need some programs in place for safety. We have snowstorms. We have people get stuck in snowstorms. We have tornadoes. We need some sort of preparedness set in place for this. I like 3, but I want to add that type of thing to it because we need that. We need it they do have one in Elizabeth. The county has set one up for Elizabeth, but not for Simla, not for all the other small towns.
Okay. That's an interesting point that we haven't heard today. Shelley, I saw a lot of head shaking, or a lot of head nodding. Did you want to add anything else to that?
Progress. For the business, the viability, like what Joe said also, the viability of business, that type of growth, because there isn't anything here. Small businesses, yes, but we have a lot of different places on the eastern plains that can bring maybe even some light manufacturing, keep our kids here. Our kids are leaving the county, and we need to keep them here. Some of the growth where I'm at, they have next-gen houses. So either in-laws or their children live together. So that's an option for the families to be here together.
Okay. I think the last person we have yet to hear from is press. You want to go? Can someone pass the mic over to him? Thank you.
Yeah. So it sounds like there needs to almost be an accumulation between these 3. There's pieces of each one that everybody likes and people don't like. Second, the reality is, if you look at all the counties around us, they're all bedroom communities for Denver. Does Elbert County want to be that? Now, if it doesn't, which I prefer not, but if it doesn't want to be that, then we still have to figure out how are we going to develop from an economic standpoint, because we've got to have some growth. Now, to me, the growth has to come from internal. You can have big box stores and all you get are low paid wages. Or you can have economic development that is triggered by people within the community, that keeps the money in the community, that develops people and raises them up from the bottom. I prefer something like that.
So what I'm hearing and sort of a culmination is maybe a local, sustainable economy that is providing intentional growth and covers more, I don't want to call it mom and pop because I think that word is a little bit overused, but more local businesses that are tied to the community. And when we talk about hazard mitigation and water, a lot of these principles, a lot of these chapters will have very direct policies, very direct goals. And so it needs to cover everything from Simla to Elizabeth. It needs to cover everything north to south and everywhere in between. And I think I want to challenge everyone here to keep a Simla perspective if you're from Elizabeth, and if you're from Elizabeth, a Simla perspective as we work through this, because we are all one county. And you may live in very different environments, but I think you all are more similar than you may think. And in this county, everyone chooses to live in this county or do business in this county because it's a great county. And so I keep that in mind as you are working through this. We're taking notes on all three of these. In the sake of time, I was hoping to get through and maybe provide some consensus on one vision statement. That may be a little bit difficult. So we're going to go back, rework just one of these, send this out. And I think ultimately, if we're really targeting maybe 65 or 75% thumbs up, and if we get to that point within all of you in this vision statement, then I think that's a huge success. Seeing that we had almost a complete split, and then just as many did not select a single one. And so this is a very important process, and want to keep that in mind. Tim?
Hey, Blake. Can I just reread mine for the community again?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go ahead,
Sure.
Kevin.
Thanks. Rooted in tradition and growing with intention is the core value. We envision a county where enduring values of faith, family, and hard work shape a thriving rural community. Guided by stewardship and respect for our agricultural heritage, we commit to preserving open spaces, supporting local farmers, and fostering a way of life that honors our past while securing our future. Growth will be deliberate and well managed, ensuring that development strengthens our economy without compromising the character, culture, or natural beauty that define us. And to me, that kind of feeds the three thoughts between the three visions together.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do that, Kim. Show of hands with that one.
I'd actually like to see you guys take all the thoughts and ideas.
Sure.
And don't feel compelled to use any of these three as the base.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd encourage you to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And take everything that you've heard tonight. I mean, one last comment I want to make on growth and why Elbert County will remain unique for a long time. When I started developing in Parker in 1992, it was 3,500 people. There was one significant employer that isn't even there anymore. It was called Medtronics. And the reason that Parker grew, though, there was this little old thing called E470 that got built. And the first leg of E470 went from I-25 south to Parker Road, and then they built it all the way up to I-25 north and up through the airport. The airport wasn't even built yet. They were just building it. And the other thing is it has this little thing called State Highway 83. Those are major transportation routes. It has major transportation routes. It ended up having major commercial, recreational, healthcare, all those things exist. I don't see that coming out to Elbert County anytime soon. Until they build E670 in about year 2062 or 2262 or whenever the heck that's going to be, Elbert County is going to remain predominantly rural. So this is unique. And again, Kevin, I think you got a lot of really good ideas. I don't disagree with you on a lot of what you said either. So it's again, just kind of, I'd start from scratch basically and take all the thoughts and ideas you heard tonight.
So if I can just speak to the Parker. The other thing that happened in Parker was in the late 90s is they did a very extensive, comprehensive plan to make sure that they were self-sustainable.
It was actually on that steering committee.
I will want to remind everyone, please scan in your worksheet and send that over to us. So if we missed anything on our notes, we have some direct notes from you all. So if you could do so over the next week, that would be extremely helpful for us to start to consolidate this vision into one. And then we will move forward to core principles. I hope no one is tired, because we're just getting started. Can we go ahead and... Okay, so what is a core principle? A core principle is a high-level theme which can be reinforced throughout various chapters and chapter goals within the comprehensive plan. It provides a guide for all of the goals and strategies within that chapter. And for example, we have some very just generic core principles and a very generic transportation chapter, so ignore the text in these. These are just examples, very generic examples that we pulled to show how the core principles will relate to the individual chapters within the comp plan. So for example, number 1 is foster a safe community. This is a core principle, and for example, this comprehensive plan has 4 core principles. So within the transportation chapter, there are 3 goals. The first goal is establish a safe and connected transportation network. That would tie into core principle number 1. Number 2 is maintain a welcoming and connected community. That also feeds into the goal number 1, but it also feeds into goal number 2 and goal number 3. So goal number 2, promote a walkable and bikeable, I think it got cut off, but where multimodal systems are feasible. Number 3 is promote efficient travel while reducing traffic congestions. So you can see how 1 core principle is feeding into 3 transportation goals. Number 3 doesn't feed into any of the transportation goals, and that's okay. Number 4 is promote a high quality of life, and that feeds into number 2 and number 3. So you can start to see this web of how the core principles start to reinforce the transportation goals and chapters. And we get very specific with the goals within each chapter. Jennifer?
Thanks, Blake. I would just add that I'm really excited that we're doing core principles as a part of this plan. Not all comp plans have core principles, and it's a really great way for us to be able to find those common threads that are going to tie everything together, but they're not chapter specific. And again, these were just examples, so please don't get hung up on multimodal or anything that's not necessarily applicable, but these are those sort of overarching themes that apply in Elbert County that will, in one way or another, relate to goals in different chapters. And I would expect that all of our goals would tie back to at least one and often multiple of the core principles. So I just wanted to add all that. Again, I think this is really, this is an exciting way to do it, and it keeps it to be high level. And so the core principles will not be the same as a goal in a chapter. So just remember, we're getting more and more specific as we go. So there will be a time when we are dealing with very specific, right, recommendations and implementation and things like that, but we're still at that high level. But I think it's helpful to move into this, Blake, because I think we can then go back and look at the vision statements and build from the core principles, because I think that there will be some overlap.
Yes, and that is a very important point to note, is and that's the pure reason why we're doing both of these at the exact same time and not developing the vision strategy and then the core principles. So let's get into the activity. So for the other side of your worksheet, the purpose of this is to establish 3 core principles. So out of the 6, we asked you all to select 3 of these, and for the sake of time, we're gonna jump in pretty quick. Is that okay with everyone? All right. So if you selected 1, please raise your hand. All right, that is 7. And Kevin, feel free to speak up at any point and just interrupt me, please. If you selected number 2, Elbert County will preserve its rural character, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. I knew it. Okay, so number 2, 11. See, I knew we would get consensus somewhere. Come on, guys. Okay, so number 3, Elbert County will foster a high quality of life. That's 5. Number 4, Elbert County will foster a sustainable economy. All right, another popular one. That was 8. And Elbert County will maintain a welcoming and connected community. And number 6, Elbert County will prioritize a safe and healthy environment. All right, 2. And Kevin, if you want to jump in and provide your responses at any point, just let me know.
Blake, I'm putting them in the chat.
Okay, and which other ones?
For 5, 6.
6. All right. The front runners is number 1, Elbert County will protect its natural resources. Number 2, Elbert County will preserve its rural character. And number 4, Elbert County will foster a sustainable economy. So for the folks that didn't select any of those 3, raise your hand. Oh, surprising. Okay. Now, for folks that only had one of those selected, please raise your hand. Number 1, number 2, and number 4.
Blake, let's hear what Kevin put in the comments as well. Can you tell us?
I was good with number 1, number 2. 3 is a little too nebulous. 4 is okay. 6 is too nebulous. 5 I was uncertain of, so.
So it seems like number 6, with only 2 responses, is the lowest. And we are actually tied number 3 and number 5 with 6 responses. If you only selected one of the top 3, 1, 2, and 4, please raise your hand. If you selected 2 of those, please raise your hand. Would anyone like to go first on your third one that was not in the top 3? You had 6, and why was that?
Safe roads and safe infrastructure, emergency services, I think is critical, especially if you look out in, eastern part of the county. That's a big deal. That's a big, big deal.
So could we pick up your selection by adding the word safe to one of the top 3?
Sure.
And which one would that be?
4 was
So
let me think about how you
okay.
put that in. Yeah.
So maybe, for example, number 2 would read, Elbert County would preserve its rural character. And maybe provide a safe and rural character, maybe
maintaining access to critical services or critical infrastructure, something like that.
Okay. Would anyone else like to jump in?
I would.
Sure.
I totally agree with what he's saying on the safety, and I think it should probably fit in just exactly the same way he's saying. I totally agree with him. I did choose number 6 also. I think we're the only 2 that did, so.
So if we were to add a 4th one, number 3, Elbert County will foster a high quality of life. I feel like safety and high quality of life go hand in hand. Would anyone disagree with that?
No, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So maybe number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, this is fun. I feel like I'm playing bingo. We would have 4, correct. Does anyone have objection? Yep.
I have no objection. I like that. And could we add in there, because I think Joe was onto something with the wholesome economy thing, wholesome business. I think that's part of it too. If we
So
can
maybe add
wholesome in there somewhere, I think that's good. Could be under the sustainable economy one.
Okay. That's really good.
Can I, this is good. So I really liked 2, but I think it was our first meeting. I think it was you, Shelley, that said this. If we're going to protect something, we got to own it. And I think you made the comment, we don't own anything as a county. So in my addition to number 2 was have the county purchase something. So have them purchase some things to protect. Otherwise, it's up for grabs. That was just.
That's an interesting point. Okay. And that can come through in maybe outside of the core principles as sort of maybe an action item or a sort of a follow-up action item outside of the comprehensive plan. Obviously, we can't go out and tell the county to buy things, but if we hear that from the community that you're on to a very important point, especially surrounding open space and preservation and that sort of topic. But as we start to get into that is a very hairy topic, a very difficult piece to really get into, especially with a comprehensive plan. But there's ways to sort of lean on that and the outcome of that, if you will. Shelley?
So to include 6, could we put it, like you said, with 3? And here's what I could maybe make a recommendation of stating. Elbert County will foster a high quality of life while prioritizing a safe and healthy environment.
Any objections? Nicole?
I just have input because one of the 3 that I picked was the high quality of life, and I think it makes sense to wrap the safe into it, but I saw that more as like services that are provided to the community through the county so that they know that they're safe or they know that the roads are well taken care of and all of that. So, I mean, I see that more the high quality of life aspect as being like the enjoyment that we have using and living in this county through the services that are provided, majority through the county.
So if we were to, and I know we're coming up on time, we have 9 minutes left, and we're going to run through the last portion of our presentation. So I'm going to challenge you all right now. Let's make a decision. If we're going with 4 core principles and we're changing number 3 to Elbert County will foster a high quality of life, a safe and high quality of life, or a safe environment and high quality of life, we can wordsmith that at a later date. If we selected number 1, 2, 3, and 4 with a show of hands, who would be in agreement with that consensus?
I'm good with number 3, the additions to number 3 as well. So all 3 or all 4.
Let the record show we're almost at 100%. Pat yourself on the back on that one.
The meeting's over. We're going on the
Meeting is
holiday
over.
weekend.
We're getting drinks. Let's celebrate.
Just kidding.
All right. Does anybody, Danny, would you like to add anything else to that? On what you would like to see? No? Okay. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but okay. Let's go over land use categories. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe in the vision statement, wholesome?
Wholesome environment.
We have that noted, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to run through this very quickly, and it's just sort of a teaser on our next steering committee topic, which is land use. And this is going to be a big one. And so I just wanted to give you all a quick introduction on what land use is, what a future land use map is. So a future land use map is a tool used to graphically represent how future land can reflect the community's vision. So what we're taking and discussing today and putting that on paper. So this includes general types of land uses, location, and intensities to help guide future zoning decisions. It identifies general areas for preservation or growth. So it's everything like open space and parks to commercial and residential or any types of residential. And so future land use versus zoning. So I want to remind everyone, we are not doing zoning. So a comprehensive plan is, like we had mentioned earlier in this meeting, it is a policy document, and it is more so future land use is more general and guides the policy and decision-making process in the future. Zoning is a regulatory tool. So this is law, and it is used to determine specific regulations like setbacks, building heights, facades, all of the above. And so as we get into the land use category discussion, just keep that in mind. And if you have any follow-up questions, please reach out to us. I would be happy. This is my life. So I love talking about land use. I love talking about zoning. So just give me a call and we can chat through it. Oh, you should talk to my wife. I'm a hoot. Actually, yeah, let's go over the other ones. So a quick sort of a benefits analysis of what land use can provide a county or any jurisdiction. It provides, so land use diversification. What we mean by land use diversification is providing a full swath of land uses from low intensity to high intensity. Whatever high intensity means to you all, we'll determine that at a later date. And so please keep that in mind on what your definition of high intensity. We're not talking about density, we're talking about intensity. And so providing land use diversification has some very beneficial long-term effects. A few of those is providing a sustainable tax base. It's providing employment opportunities. It's providing stability during market fluctuations and market changes. And it can provide the preservation of natural areas as we get into it. This one is going to be a very touchy topic, land uses, And in relation to open spaces and preservation, just a little teaser, we're going to get into it in much greater detail at a later time. 4 minutes. And so a few examples of what land use categories are. So we have 4 categories. So we have residential, we have commercial, we have recreation, we have public. These are not set in stone. These are just examples to sort of frame up the discussion for next time. But for example, residential could be agricultural residential. So think of homesteads. Rural residential, think of large lot or what we call estate lot residential. Single family residential, everyone knows single family residential. And then commercials, so everything from retail to office to light or heavy industrial. Recreation could include regional parks, open space, and public could include utilities or institutional uses. Some of these we may not use. Some of these we may use. And I want to challenge everyone to do a little bit of research over the next 2 weeks and dive into what land uses speak well to you, whether it's in Simla, whether it's in Elizabeth, and just please note that these land uses go from east to west, north to south. And so they include everything from Simla to Elizabeth. All right. So a quick schedule. Oh, go ahead. Absolutely.
If you're talking, it's not
Absolutely.
on microphone.
Sorry about that. This is Ken Madsen. So my comment was, can we separate industrial from commercial? Because just because I would want commercial in the area doesn't mean I want industrial in that area. That's kind of a separate thing in my mind.
Absolutely. And just because you may want local commercial or local retail does not mean you want a Walmart Supercenter or maybe a Buc-ee's. And so keep that in mind as you're doing some research. And if at any point, like I said, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can call me, you can email me, you can text me. Just don't fax me. If that's what you want to do, we can set that up. So quick schedule recap for...
Oh, my.
Uh-oh. Okay, so the next meeting will be September 16th, and we'll be going through the engagement updates, recap of today's meeting, and some future land use categories. And I think it would be helpful for us to revisit the vision and core principles as sort of here's what we have. I want to be careful. We have very limited time with you all, and we need to be careful on going back and forth on topics. At some point, we really need to make a decision as a group and move forward. And so I'm going to challenge everyone. I know that's easier said than done, but it seems like we did it with core principles. So I think we can do it with the vision statement as well.
If I can just add that it feels a little bit too soon to be finalizing that statement before we even get a chance to review the survey. I'm interested to hear what do the 700 people who responded to the survey have to say about the vision of the county.
Absolutely. That is a very important point. Thank you, Nicole, for reminding me. So when I say finalize, I mean finalize with this group, and you all feel comfortable going out to the public and hearing more about it. With the open house, we will be rolling this out to the open house. And so I would expect these to be 80% baked. And then when we come back, we can discuss what we heard during the open house. And if there was any major pushback on any of the vision or core principles, we can discuss that as a group.
Hey, Blake, can I ask a question? So, being a financial guy, I like facts and numbers. Is there any way to put out a question maybe to the county? What is the need for tax base moving forward? What is the need that what do we need, what bucket do we need to fill monetarily just for the 9,000 homes we already know are going to be built? Is there any way to get that information and make that request?
That is a very crystal ball question. We can provide guidance on that question, but I'm afraid that is a near impossible to have a definitive answer.
Even a ballpark.
And I think we can chat about that internally and see if we can provide some direction on that.
Thanks.
All right, so a question for you all as we prepare for the open house and upcoming steering committee meetings. We're 2 minutes over, so this will be quick. For the open house, is everyone available to meet in person at 3 p.m. instead of 5? If that is a conflict for you, please reach out to us. What we're going to try to do is have this steering committee meeting at 3 to 4:30,
Sometime
and
in
then go
October.
directly into the open house. So you all are more than welcome to stick around, hear what your fellow constituents are saying, fellow community members, and then use that as we go forward.
And what are the hours of the open house?
The hours of the open house will be 5:30 to 6. The date.
Not yet
time
totally
isn't set,
finalized, but
but we're thinking 5:30 to 6:30 to 7:30 to 8:30, but it'll be in the later portion of the afternoon.
This is September 16th?
And that is October 14th.
October 14th.
so just to be clear, that we will have another steering committee meeting in September. It'll be just a steering committee meeting, just like this.
You'll have a call-in?
And just to clarify, we will not be drawing the land use map at that meeting. So please don't feel stressed that that's going to be done and finished and figured out. No, that would be horrible. It's just going to be beginning those conversations about, what some of them look like and the different types of areas and what that would entail and what that would mean and how it would be used and things like that. So please know that we recognize that that is not a hour-and-a-half activity, and then we're done. So just to clarify that. But then we're talking about the open house in October, and we would like to have a steering committee meeting, if possible, right before the open house, and then follow the meeting with the open house, if that will potentially work for schedules. So we'd like to hear from you all if you could be available at 3 or at 4, and then we can adjust the open house time frame to work with that, if that's an option.
Any last minute questions? Ever hold your peace? Nothing? And we are working internally on that, and we'll provide some guidance here in the next week or so. And I do want to say thank you to our visitors. Thank you for coming by and listening. I'm sorry you had to hear my voice tonight, but thank you for coming. Also wanted to thank John from Ranchland News for coming out, and thank you all for your time. Apologize we went 5 minutes over, but it was extremely helpful for us, and I hope you all have a good night.